Hey there, literary citizens! Look out for a video from Wordstock on Monday, but today you get to meet my inner theater nerd because I'm going to talk about stage musicals based on books. Now, I'm not going to cover the popular ones like Les Mis or Wicked or Phantom of the Opera because that's just too easy. So instead, I'm going to talk about some of my favorites among the lesser-known shows. I've already mentioned how much I love Jane Eyre, and that love extends to the musical version as well. It's a difficult task to cram such a long and complicated plot into 2 hours, but the show handles it gracefully and leaves out some of the less important bits of the story to focus on the characters and their relationships. The show was only developed about 15 years ago, but the music is reminiscent of older classic musicals, and the haunting melodies perfectly capture the Victorian Gothic genre of the novel. To be honest, I found The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde to be a relatively boring book, but the musical version, simply called Jekyll and Hyde, makes the plot and characters much more interesting. The show has one actor portray both Jekyll and Hyde, and in the scenes where he has to switch between them quickly, it's quite impressive if played well and quite unbearable if not. On that note, please don't watch the DVD recording that stars David Hasselhoff. Like Jane Eyre, the music is gorgeous and dark, but better yet, the show was revived as a rock concert after it went off Broadway, which added some sweet electric guitar bits. Seussical the Musical is a show based on the collected works of, you guessed it, Dr. Seuss. It's narrated by the Cat in the Hat and mainly focuses on the story of Horton Hears a Who, but characters from many other Seuss books pop up throughout the show to have a song or two. It's one of the few musicals that manages to make me nostalgic for my childhood while also being well written and fun to watch. The songs have a more poppy, modern-day musical feel to them, which means they're very catchy and likely to get stuck in your head.
Any thinker who thinks can come up with a few. Oh, the things you can think a trip on a ship to the victor of it.
Next we have High Fidelity. Oh, High Fidelity. This show was on Broadway for literally 10 days and a total of 14 performances before it closed as a commercial failure due to a somewhat lackluster script and the fact that most people were expecting it to be a jukebox musical. Surprise! It actually has original songs. The music has a pretty great rock vibe and it's fun to sing along to.
And that bullet's headed straight to your heart!
But I guess it's just one of those stories that works better as a John Cusack movie. Fun fact, Will Chase, who starred in this musical, later went on to receive a Tony nomination for his role in the recent revival of my next musical, The Mystery of Edwin Drood. Drood is another of my favorite shows, partly because of its unconventional story structure. It was based on the last book that Charles Dickens wrote before he died, or rather, the book he was writing when he died, which unfortunately for poor Edwin Drood, left his murder unsolved. The musical deals with this tiny little issue by using a play-within-a-play format that allows the cast to interact with the audience and encourage them to vote for a culprit. This leads to a multitude of different endings, some less plausible than others, but more entertaining.
But I'm the candidate you rowdy lot have chose. And so my motives now, I fear I must disclose.
That's all I have for you today, but it doesn't even begin to cover the dozens of other musicals based on works of literature. Here are a few more. Little Women, Baker Street, Pride and Prejudice, A Little Princess, The Secret Garden, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Scarlet Pimpernel, A Tale of Two Cities, The Count of Monte Cristo, The Wiz, Wonderland, Matilda, Oliver, and Lord of the Rings. What book would you like to see turned into a musical? Or alternately, what book do you think should have never been turned into a musical? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Plot into 2 hours, but the film, not the film, the musical, I mean, the film is okay too, but depends what you're talking about. But characters from many other Seuss books pop out? Well, yeah, that too. I'm about to sneeze.